Hey guys, and welcome to the BFN. Today we're at a campfire again. We're not just roasting marshmallows, we're actually cooking up a little dinner. We have a few recipes that we want to show you, so let's check them out. First, we need a banana. And then, cut it open. Fill it with deliciousness. Close your aluminum foil. Stick it in the fire. After 5 minutes, go ahead and pull it out of the fire. Watch out, it's hot. Then carefully open it and enjoy. Next, we're making campfire hamburgers. First, you want to put down a hamburger patty. And then add some frozen French fries. And carefully wrap it up. And then set the hamburger on the side of the fire. After 5 minutes, make sure you flip the burger and wait 5 more minutes. Alright, it should be done. Now again, take it out very carefully and put it on a plate. Let it cool down. And there you go, a delicious hamburger with French fries. Enjoy. Those recipes were pretty cool. You can actually find more recipes online. They're as fire as the eye can see. He knows what I'm talking about. Did you know that you can wrap almost anything in aluminum foil, throw it in a fire, and it doesn't get burned? That's so cool. It kind of reminds me of a Bible story. What's the name of those guys who got thrown into a fire, but they didn't burn?
The yellow teeth?
No, that's not it, Rooster. What were their names? It was like Shadrack, Abednego. What was the other one? Meshack. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Let's check out this story and see what it was.
It's time for a Bible story. A long time ago in the land of Israel, there lived 3 young guys named Shadrack, Meshack, and Abednego.
Whoa, hold on, wait a minute. What are those names? Did you say their names were Sad Rat, Mean Hat, and a Bendy Goat?
No, not even close. Their names were Shadrack, Meshack, and Abednego. And they were some pretty solid dudes. They loved God with all their heart, and things were going pretty well for them. Until one day, all of that changed.
Wait, let me guess what happened. They were taken from their homeland by an invading army.
Well, actually, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Do you know the story already?
Whoa, really? Crazy. That was just a random guess. What are the odds of that, huh?
Well, you're right. Israel was invaded by the wicked King Nebuchadnezzar.
Whoa, that stinks. And double whoa, because the names in this story are crazy.
I know, right? King Nebuchadnezzar invaded their country and took a bunch of people captive, and then brought them back to his home country called Babylon.
Hold up. Okay. I know the names in this story are a little wonky, but you gotta be kidding me. He was from a place called Babyland? That sounds awesome. An entire country full of adorable babies? Actually, that doesn't sound awesome. I bet it smelled like a giant diaper. Ugh.
No, not Babyland. It was called Babylon, and I'm sure it smelled just fine.
Gotcha. So what happened when they got to Babylon?
Well, they were trying to adjust to where they live now. I mean, one day they're chilling at home in Israel, and the next day they're in a totally different country. They didn't know anybody there, they don't speak the language, and on top of all that, they were forced to work as slaves.
Yikes, that is pretty rough, man. I bet they were like so super scared. I mean, they're in a completely different country, they don't know anybody, they're completely on their own. Man, I would be totally freaked out.
Actually, they didn't freak out. They knew God was with them, so they kept on like they had before. Every day they would pray and worship God.
Hey, that's great to hear. Sounds like things could turn around, huh?
Well, things did change, but not really in the way that you might expect. One day, King Nebuchadnezzar decided to have a huge statue of himself built. He wanted to be 90 feet tall and made out of gold.
Seriously, a 90-foot golden statue of himself? Man, what a waste of a statue. I'd rather have a 90-foot gold statue of something awesome, like a really fat hamster. Oh, or like a unicorn playing guitar.
I agree. Those would be pretty sweet. But no, he wanted it to be of himself. And once the statue was built, he ordered people from all around to come and see it. He had musicians set up all around the statue and gave the order that when they started to play, everyone would bow down and worship him.
Okay, that's a little weird. So what does this have to do with our three amigos exactly?
Well, that's where things get interesting. Shadrack, Meshack, and Abednego were some of the people that were ordered to come and see the statue. But, as you can imagine, they weren't very interested in worshiping King Nebuchadnezzar. They only worshiped God.
So what happened?
Just like the king ordered, the band kicked in and everybody bowed down to the statue except for 3 people. You want to guess who?
Larry, Curly, and Moe.
Swing and a miss. It was actually Shadrack, Meshack, and Abednego. And as you can imagine, the king was not very happy with them disobeying his orders. But he liked Shadrack, Meshack, and Abednego, so he gave them a second chance to change their minds and worship him. The band kicked in again, everybody else bowed down, but...
Let me guess, they didn't bow.
No sirree, Bob.
Yeesh, I bet he really did not like that.
No, he did not. King Nebuchadnezzar was furious that they had refused to worship him, but they held firm and told the king that they would only worship the one true God.
Oh boy, I bet they got punished pretty bad, huh? What'd they get, like 1,000,000 spankings?
No, much worse than that. The king's guards grabbed Shadrack, Meshack, and Abednego and took them to a huge fiery furnace, a giant oven with flames blazing out all over it.
Good grief, that thing is no joke. It's gotta be like 1,000,000 degrees, or like a bazillion Celsius, or like 5 Kelvin.
Well, look at you, Mr. Science. And yes, it was very hot. The king decided to give them one more chance to bow down to him, and if they didn't, he was going to throw them into the fiery furnace.
Whoa, he was seriously gonna like kill him?
Straight up.
So what'd they do? I mean, did they just give in and bow down? I mean, listen, that would be totally understandable. I mean, look at that oven thing, man. They'd get roasted like marshmallows in there. That would be terrifying.
That's true. It was a pretty scary situation, but they trusted in God and they weren't afraid. They knew that God was more powerful than King Nebuchadnezzar, and if God was on their side, they didn't have to be afraid. So when the king said one last time to bow down, they refused.
Uh-oh. So did he throw him in the furnace?
Nope. Instead, the king ordered the furnace to be made 7 times hotter than it already was, and then throw them in.
What? How do you even do that? That's gotta be like as hot as the sun, or like an atomic bomb, or my new mixtape.
No. But it got so hot that when the guards opened the door, the heat was so strong that they were instantly killed.
Oh, look, the guards are dead. Now's your chance. Run for it, guys.
Well, there were other guards. Kind of an expendable resource back then.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
So another set of guards grabbed Shadrack, Meshack, and Abednego, dragged them over to the furnace, and threw them inside. King Nebuchadnezzar and everybody else watched as they closed the door and waited. But what happened next? Nobody ever expected. There in the furnace, in those blazing hot flames, stood 4 men.
Wait, what? They didn't die? Like an instant, terrible death of burning and dying?
Nope. The guards and King Nebuchadnezzar could not believe their eyes. There were 4 figures standing in the flames, totally fine.
Hold up, wait a second. There were 4 people? I thought you said they threw in 3 people. You know, Shadrack, Meshack, and Abednego. That's only 3.
True, but there was a 4th person in the furnace with them. It was Jesus.
What?
Yep, Jesus was with them in the fiery furnace and protected them from the flames. King Nebuchadnezzar told them to come out, and they walked out completely unharmed. Their clothes didn't even smell like smoke.
That is incredible. So that's why they weren't afraid of the king, huh? They trusted in God so much and knew that he would be with them when the times got tough.
Exactly. That day, Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego showed King Nebuchadnezzar and everyone in Babylon that God was with them, and no matter what came their way, they didn't have to fear.
That is totally stinking awesome.
You bet. The end.
Wow, that fire was super hot. Kind of like the fire we have. And God protected Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego, just like the tinfoil is protecting our food. How cool is that? And then to see the king have his heart changed after he saw them come out of the fire. Man, God is good. Did you know that God can change your heart if you want him to? If you're sad or angry, man, God can change that. If you ask him, he will. Now, let's check out our food from the fire. This is delicious. You know, there's a lot of cool things you can do at home. Let's check out this video that was sent in by you.
Hey friends! I'm Lily. I'm Lena. And I'm Zayla. Today we're making homemade Play-Doh. So, I know it might be hard because of this COVID-19 to go out in the stores and get Play-Doh. So we thought we'd make some homemade Play-Doh, and we think this Play-Doh is much better than the store-bought Play-Doh because it lasts longer. let's get started. So first you'll need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 3/4 cups of salt, 4 teaspoons of cream of tartar. And you do not want to forget the cream of tartar because it's what keeps the Play-Doh fresh and not go bad easy. And you want 2 cups of lukewarm water. Sure. 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Uno, 2. 2? Uno.
She means 2.
She meant 2. Dos. Okay. I just counted to 2 in Spanish.
Oil.
And food coloring of whatever color you want your Play-Doh to be. All right, so now we're gonna mix this and then put it on the stove. Ooh, this is getting chunky.
It feels like we're making pancakes, but we're not.
Yeah, so yeah, you'll mix it until all the ingredients are mixed together.
We're almost done.
All right, that looks
Ready
good,
now?
Lily. You can turn off the fire now.
So, as you can see, we've rolled it into a log now. Still a little bit warm, but it's not burning my hands. Okay, so we're gonna cut it into 3 equal pieces for Zyla, Lina, and... Wait, is that even...
And afterwards, we're gonna pick our colors of food coloring and dye it, and then mix it together in a zip-zop bag.
Uno, dos, tres. Okay, Zayla, do you want to get me those Ziploc bags?
So now let's pick our
This
colors.
is my bag. This will be mine, and this will be yours.
Let's pick our colors.
You don't have to put it in a bag to do it, but if you don't want your hands to look like whatever color you use for the rest of the week, you might want to put it in a Ziploc bag. But before you put it in the Ziploc bag, get your food coloring, or get your food coloring ready, and put your Play-Doh in the bag. 2 drops. Uno, dos. Ooh, I kind of put 3, but.
Okay, as you can see, we're done, and I'm gonna show
Well, we've been kneading our dough for a bit and put some food
And now
coloring.
I'm gonna show you how to roll it out. So you take a rolling pin, and you just
We have
roll
these
it
little fun Play-Doh
back
things.
and forth. And then when you're done, you see we have cookie cutters. We have this stuff like spatulas, and
So you have our Play-Doh.
And you can see-
That was fun.
it's a flower.
Beautiful.
We had fun today. Bye.
That was so cool. Making Play-Doh is so much fun. Although I am afraid I would accidentally eat it because it also looks so delicious. Did you know that just like Play-Doh, God can mold our mind, our thoughts, our heart, our feelings, if we let Him? We say, God, please mold us. And He will. He'll shape us into what He knows is best for our lives, which is definitely the best thing for you. But how do we do that? You know what? There's a scripture that talks just about this. Let's go to Maple with our verse of the week.
Hey everyone, it's important that we let God change our hearts, because He knows what's best for us. Let's check out Romans. Repeat after me. Romans 12, 10 through 11. Romans 12, 10 through 11. Love one another deeply. Love one another deeply. Honor others more than yourselves. Honor others more than yourselves. Stay excited about your faith. Stay excited about your faith. As you serve the Lord. As you serve the Lord. Great job. This time, why don't we say it together? Romans 12, 10 through 11. Love one another deeply. Honor others more than yourselves. Stay excited about your faith as you serve the Lord. Doing these things can really change our hearts, because God's heart is all about loving, honoring, and serving others. Now I'm hungry. Let's check out our dessert.
Well, that's all the time we have today on the BFN. Remember to memorize your verse of the week and try making some campfire snacks. They are so delicious. Am I right, guys? Yes, they are. Until next time, see ya!
Bye.
Bye!